YouTube? Doing another van video today. This is my 2015 Ford Transit high top. So I've been traveling in this thing pretty much exclusively since 2016. My friend and I built this in the summer of 2016. Chris Sanderson, builder by bike, up in Portland, Oregon. So he did most of the good quality craftsmanship, and I did most of the holding the dumb end of the tape measure and making a lot of fart jokes. So I'm gonna open this thing up and give you a quick little tour, show you some of the stuff we did. I'm gonna open up the back first to let in light. I'm gonna try to do this all one cut without any editing. That is looking in from the side door. So up top it's hard to see, but there is a 225 watt polycrystalline solar panel. You can also see the Maxxair Fan on the roof. So that solar panel runs my refrigerator, freezer, lights, and the fantastic fan up on the roof. So I'll kind of walk you through some of the different appliances and features of this van. Starting right there, the isotherm 4.5 cubic foot fridge freezer combo. So that is a freezer up there, and this is the refrigerator part, and this is a two-way fridge freezer. So this is not run off propane, it's only run off the solar panels. There is propane right here. This is a Partner cook stove, handmade in Pocatello, Idaho. So that's a propane burner, there's two of them there, and a little propane tank just rests right there. Underneath it, cabinets. So that is walnut trim, real walnut, not just stained wood, but real walnut there, and maple facing with the walnut inlays. And these latches here are stainless steel. These are made from a company called Southco. They're really strong, they look nice, and they latch, which is important when you're driving around in a van with drawers that could come open and all your stuff come tumbling out every time you make a left turn. Left turn, Clyde. So the way you open these up is you lift and it pulls and gives you access to the contents of your drawer. You can see the little mechanism here. When you lift, it drops down and locks. So when I close this, you'll be able to hear the click. That keeps it safe and secure. So there's 3 drawers there. And this is a maple butcher block countertop. That is solid maple. That's not from IKEA. That's not some kind of hollow, cheap piece of wood. That's the real deal. So this is where I do all my cooking. You can see it's nice. I have access to the fridge. I have access to the stove and the drawers with my utensils and food and plates and bowls, and everything's right here. I can just kind of work from this area. Coming up here is the paper towel disposer? Paper towel holder. How about that? There's a little light here. These are all LED lights. And I got some jars mounted to the bottom. I keep nuts and chia seeds and buckwheat groats and whatnot in there. And these cabinets across the top. Again, that is walnut. That was taken from a demolition home. There wasn't enough wood that most people would want it, but it was perfect for my use. The face of this is laser engraved. That's not painted. That's actually engraved with a laser. And then these knobs here are deer antlers. So I found these deer antler shed in the woods and just made little knobs out of them, so it has a nice little texture, and I think it looks rather nice. So there's 6 cabinets going all the way down. Over here, that is the outlet for my S-Bar D2 heater. So that heater, the fuel source is diesel fuel from the van. It's plumbed directly into the tank, and there's a small electric pump that pulls out fuel and ignites it. The intake and exhaust is all outside of the vehicle, so you don't have any CO2 buildup inside, but the heat comes out of there. These are the temperature controls. And over here are some windows. These are Motion brand windows out of Washington. And they're in the open position now. You can close them and they lock. And if you want some ventilation, there you go. There's bug mesh in that to keep out all the skeeters. And this is all trimmed with walnut again. And this is the curtain. I hold it up with a magnet. You just remove that magnet and the curtain drops down. It's a light-proof fabric, so no light can come in, or more importantly for me, go out. So that way if I'm parked in an urban environment and I have the lights on inside the van, people outside can't even tell that I'm in here. This is the bed. That is a memory foam mattress. It's a full size mattress, and I had to cut a little bit off the ends to get it to fit, but this measures from end to end 6 feet. So at 5'11" and 200 pounds, I fit on here just barely. When it's just me, I tend to sleep diagonal across this way to give myself maximum space. And when I'm in here with my girlfriend, I'll sleep here and she'll sleep over there, and we have to snuggle a little bit, but that's part of van life. You have to do with what you got, and there's not a lot of space inside a van for a larger size bed. If I put a larger mattress in here, I would have used a lot of this valuable real estate, and I think this compromise for me works well. So I'm going to set the camera down and show you how the bed folds up. It's not static, it actually moves, because I wanted to be able to still use all this space if I had to bring in 4x8 sheets of plywood or a bathtub or any other large appliances that a van is useful for. So there's a hinge over here, and I'm going to show you how this lifts up. There you go. Now you got tons of space. It still can be used as a van. Over here is a front fork mount for a bicycle. So I can bring my bicycle underneath here. I just take off the front wheel, mount it on that right there, and then this space is where the bike rests. But you could also put boxes and whatever under there if you need to. And now I'm going to put the bed back down. Easy as that. So we got another window over here, same as the other side with the light blocking curtains, and it opens up. Little medicine cabinet there. Nothing really exciting in there. In fact, things sound like they're falling out a little bit. There we go. Toothbrush and toothpaste. Another light up top here. And I did a little bit more antler work. That is the tine from a antler that I found that I used for the knobs on the other side, and I just made a little hook. And that's where I hang my cup. Coming down here is the sink. It's a stainless steel sink. There's some more laser engraving on the front. Another one of those South Coast stainless latches. This opens up. That's where my gray water is. So that's a 6-gallon gray water tank. And it's very easy just to lift that, pull out the tank, dump it, and then put it back together. And this is gray water, so this is only containing toothpaste residue, biodegradable soap, and water. So it's not black water. It doesn't need to be disposed of in a black water tank. It's just gray water. My little garbage can. And the foot pump. So that knob right there is how I draw water out of the water tank. Most people will do an electric pump. An electric pump allows you to turn on the knobs just like at home and have water come out. And I went with a foot pump for a few reasons. One of them, it's simpler. Less wiring, less things to break. If that little pump breaks, it's a very easy fix. I just buy another one and throw it in. I don't have to chase wires down or figure out why the electric pump isn't working. Another reason is it saves a lot of water. So in a traditional stove or a sink, when you turn it on, the water is now coming out as you're washing your dishes, you're scrubbing, water is continually coming out, and you don't need water to come out that fast. With a foot pump, you can control exactly how much water comes out. Each pump sends out a burst of water. So what I'll do is I'll get my dishes wet, and I'll grab my sponge, and I'll scrub them with soap, get them all clean, and then after all the residue is off, I'll rinse it with water. So I'm using way less water than I would if I just turned on the sink. Another reason I went with the foot pump is cross-contamination. So doctor's office, tattoo parlors, wonder where I figured out the tattoo parlor trick. But they have to worry about cross-contamination. So let's say your hands are dirty. Maybe you chopped up a chicken. Now you go to turn on the knob, you've now cross-contaminated that knob with whatever residue is on your hands. So with a foot pump, when you come up with dirty hands, you can immediately start pumping and washing your hands. So you avoid cross-contamination. Over here is a little soap dispenser that's mounted on the butcher block. This is the same maple butcher block that's on the other side. And I have a few little storage spaces here and there. And that's looking back towards the main cabin. I have that passenger seat turned around, so that swivels. There's a swivel on that base there. So when I want to hang out, I have a nice little comfy recliner, and then when I have a passenger, the whole thing spins around and it's like a normal van. This is where I spend a lot of time sitting down, hanging out, enjoying views like this. Or maybe doing some kettlebells, some yoga. So the floor of this van is cork. It's 6mm cork. It's a natural material, provides us a little bit of R value, but mainly I like it because it feels good underfoot. It's a little soft. The walls are birch. The ceiling is beetle kill pine. So there's pine beetles that damage these trees and it leaves this blue residue. And I didn't stain that. That's the natural color of the wood after the beetles are done with it. And of course there's insulation across the ceiling, all the way down. The walls are all insulated, the floor. So this thing stays relatively warm when the heater is on and cooler than it is outside. And walking around, I have a few little storage ideas here. This is from a marine store. If you go to a sailboat store like West Marine, or if you're lucky enough, like in Portland, Oregon, there's a used sailboat appliance store, you can pick up little things like this. This is made out of teak, and it just fits these mason jars perfectly. I've never seen another one. I got lucky. I don't know who makes it, but I like it. And here's the Maxxair Fan. I went with the Maxxair over the Fantastic Fan, mainly because the Maxxair, you can run this and have it open even when it's raining. So yes, the Fantastic Fan, a lot of those have a sensor in them. So if you have it open and it starts raining, it'll automatically close. But then you still have a closed van. And if you're actually living in this thing, you're going to want to have that fan spinning to get the condensation from your breath out of here, even if it's raining. So the shroud, it's the outside of the van, you can't actually see it, but there's a shroud that goes over that allows you to keep this thing operated even when the rain is coming down. And there's some simple controls on there. I won't bore you with all the details. I'm probably boring you enough as it is. So we'll walk around to the back. Doors open. You can see there is a rear view camera up here, and as soon as I put it into reverse on the gear shift lever, the radio screen turns on, and that's my backup camera. Down here I have a hitch receiver, and walking in, I straighten out that blanket so it looks nice for the video. There we go. On this side, buried in here, is the S-Bar D2 heater. It's mounted to the wall. The exhaust for that heater comes out underneath the van where you can't see it. This little vent is just to have air circulation as it's working. And this little cubby hole is just a little access port. Another more deer antler knob there. And just opens up. I got it stuffed with camp chairs and odds and ends. And this side, more laser engraving on the front. Nice little compass rose. And this. So this is live edge walnut. And it's got a little hinge you can see on the top. And the reason for that, so you can open the storage area, and it folds down to make a little bench. I wouldn't want to sit on that, but I'll put my shoes on it, and as I'm pulling stuff out from my very, very messy storage, I have somewhere to store it that won't be on the dirt and the ground. In there is my 18-gallon freshwater tank. You can just barely see it here, and this hose is the fill hose. So swinging around, that's how you fill this. Open it up, you can insert a hose or a funnel. I'll do both depending on where I am and access to water. And you fill it up. Just like so. This is hard to do one-handed. So that's the back area. Got to have a little bling. The pirate cat. So also up in this rear corner, you can see I have a little bit of string and a carabiner. And I keep this for drying laundry. I can run a line out. But this carabiner is mainly here for my hammock. So if you turn, you get a long view here. You can see over there, there's another carabiner mounted. I'll walk to that side and show you. But these are mounted into the frame. So I can string a hammock all the way across here when the bed is folded in the upright position. And that gives me this access here for the hammock to go diagonal across the van. Now, why would I sleep in a hammock? One of the reasons, they're probably the most comfortable way to sleep. You don't have any pressure points like a normal mattress. If you sleep on your sides, you know what pressure points are about. But on a hammock, there's no pressure. You're just kind of floating in space. Also, with a van, if you're parked in a spot that isn't level, maybe it's tilted to the side. Maybe you're parked in an area where you can't find a good level spot. If you're parked like this, you're gonna roll right out of that bed onto the ground. But a hammock, gravity levels it out. That's how gravity works, apparently. And there's my other carabiner mount. And I did another video on hammocks, so I go into more detail with that. I won't bore you with this video. And that parachute cord, that's how I close the curtains. So this is more of that light blocking fabric. It's got a thin layer of plastic in there so no light can come through it. And when I'm set for the night, all you do is slide that over. I have a little magnet here on a string so you don't lose it. And that gets connected right there, and it stays shut. So moving back, now no light comes out of there. So I can be parked in an urban environment, downtown in a city, I can have all my lights on inside this van and cooking dinner, reading a book, and people walking by won't even know that there's any lights on in here. They can't see anything. It just looks like an empty van. Behind the driver's seat, put this forward a little bit. That is ground control for all the electronics here. So I have a 2000 watt pure sine inverter. This is from a company called Renogy, and the pure sine is the way to go. It's got 4 outlets on top, a port for your USB, and the on and off switch. So I can charge my phone, charge my computer. I was running a blender off that, but I was drawing a little too much power, so I stopped with the blender. If I'm going to continue making smoothies in the morning, I'm going to have to get a bigger battery bank. Right now my battery bank is 2 75 amp hour Optima batteries running parallel. So that gives me 150 amp hours of battery. More than enough for everything except those darn smoothies. Back here in the corner, that's a 20 MPPT, 20 amp charge controller. And this little vent is just for the refrigerator, so it has ventilation behind it. That all gets tucked behind the driver's seat, like so. So that's the tour. I hope I didn't forget anything. You will notice there is no bathroom in here. Well, the reason behind that is every van that I've been in that does have a bathroom, you know there's one in there because you can smell it. And I didn't want to have to mess with having a stinky van when there are public toilets everywhere. Rest areas, gas stations, coffee shops, or my personal favorite, the gym. I go to the gym 5-6 days a week anyway, so that's where I will get a shower, get a sauna, run on the treadmill if it's not a good day to run outside, lift some weights. I just didn't feel the need to have a bathroom in here. And when I'm camped in a spot like this, as an avid outdoor person, backpacker, digging a leave no trace hole for number 2 is not an issue for me. I carry a trowel and I'll dig my little hole and do my business and pack out the toilet paper and good to go. As far as number 1, well, that tree looks pretty good. When I'm out in the woods, that's how I do it. When I'm in cities, there's toilets everywhere. I do have a small solar shower. It's a little black bag, but I rarely use that. I just wait till I get into town because I'm kind of a dirtbag. So that's the tour. If you have any questions or comments, as long as they're nice ones, go ahead and leave them below. I'll try to answer them as I can. I don't get Wi-Fi very often unless I'm in town. But thanks for watching, and I hope this video helped you learn a little bit more about the Ford Transit. I think it's a great vehicle. I think it's better than the Sprinter, and maybe I'll do a video comparing the two in the future, but that's it for now.